Hi! On this video we will discuss how to build the admin's control panel, which should enable the admin, for example, to set a design as the first design, make it invisible for all the users except the admin users, or even delete the design along with its related files. So let's go ahead and start. Now let's first copy the HTML I have already prepared for the control panel inside our repeater and immediately after the dev design name. So paste, Ctrl K, Ctrl D to reformat the page, and let's view in browser. This will give us an error here because we haven't included the visible property inside our SQL data source. So I will add here visible, so the visible property should be included in order to be used here for the data dash visible. Now let's rebuild our solution and refresh our page. Okay, now we have our control panel here. However, this control panel shouldn't be visible by anyone except the admin. So if you log off here from the admin account, you can still view this control panel. So I will go here to the code behind page. Let's pin that one here and pin that one here, and go to the repeater designs item data bound and add the following. In order to be able to invoke the panel edit product from the code behind page, you cannot simply type panel edit product, as this panel is included inside the item template inside the repeater. So in order to be able to invoke it, we have to define a new variable, for example called panel edit product equals e.item.find control the panel edit product. Okay, and it's better to cast this one, so I will type here ctype and cast it to a panel. Okay, now let's type if not user dot isenroll admin, then panel edit product dot visible equals false. Okay, let's rebuild now. Refresh. Okay, here we go. The panel has been disappeared from the regular user eye. However, if you log in as an admin account, okay, the panel will be visible. So now let's discuss how I designed those three buttons. So if you go here to the default.aspx, I have added three hyperlinks. Each one has a different data action. So I add a data called action here, and with three different actions: make first, delete, switch visibility. Now let's start typing the code responsible for switching the design's visibility. Okay, so I will go here to gws.asmx and I will add a new method, and this method will have the name of switch visibility, and I will type here dim db as new dim my design equals db dot designs dot single, this a lambda expression of course, function m, where m dot design id equals design id. Now simply I will type here if my design dot visibility equals true, then my design dot visible will be equal to false, else I will go now to the JS folder default.js and pin this one here, and after page load, so this is the switch visibility could snipe it. For all the elements that has the attribute data action equals to switch visibility. Okay, so this is the switch visibility here. Dot click action function, and the first thing to do here is to save the clicked element inside a variable, as once you start later using the post function, the word this will no longer refer to the clicked element within the context of the post function. And I will also define a new variable called product ID, and the product ID will be equal to the parent element data ID. Okay, so product ID equal this dot parent dot data ID. Define a new variable also called isVisible, which will tell us whether the current design is visible or not. So as you can see here, there is something called data-visible, and that will tell us whether this design is visible or not. So var isVisible equal this dot data visible. Okay, now let's invoke the post function. So post, and type here GWS, the name of the function, which is switch visibility. The second parameter of the post function will be the function's arguments, so design ID, that will have the value of product ID. And the last thing, what will happen on the success case, so function. Now if the design is visible, if you inspect this icon has the class FA I want this class to be flipped to FA-I- enter. So as you can see here, the I has now been turned off to I/. Okay, so I will say if is visible equals true, then this dot find the span inside it, and since it only has one span, so I will find this span dot remove class fa-I dot add class fa-I-/ then this I will switch the attribute as well, dot attribute data dash visible false, else I will switch here the fi / to fi, okay, and switch this one to true. Now let's rebuild our solution and refresh our page. Okay, now let's click here, nothing happens, might be a problem, so inspect, and let's go to the console to figure out what's the problem. Maybe I have done a mistake here. Okay, this bracket has to be here instead, so let's save again and let's refresh. Now if you click here, okay, now let's, okay, now it has been switched to false. If you log off, now design number 1 for the regular site visitor will be hidden. If you log in again as administrator, we will find that there is no sign on this design helps the admin to indicate whether this design has been already set to visible or not. So I will go back to the default.js and type the following script. So again, dot each function, and I will type here if this dot attribute data dash visible equals false, then this dot find span dot remove class fa dash I dot add class fa dash I dash slash. Okay, let's save all. Now refresh. Okay, now both designs number 1 and number 2 have been given the invisible indication. Okay, now let's move to the make first button. So first I will go to GWS and add a new method which called make first. So make first, and of course the parameter is design ID. Let's now define a new variable called designs equals db.designs.where I want to return all the designs which don't have the ID of design ID. So I will type here function m, where m dot design ID not equals design ID dot order by function m dot sort index. Okay, the next step will be to set the my design sort index to 1, and for the rest of the designs I will create a loop starts from 2. So for each design dot sort index equals I, and I will increment the I at the end by 1. At the end, db.save changes. Now let's start by typing our jQuery code. First, we'll type here make first. Okay, so you'll have to find the elements which have the data action make first. Var product ID equals this dot closest, or we can type directly this dot parent dot data ID. Var the first product will be equal to this dot closest dev designs dot find dot panel product, where nth child equals 1, and this should find the first design inside the dev designs element. Var current product, which is the clicked product, equals this dot closest dot panel product. Okay, now I want to make the current product inserted before the first product. Okay, and we have also to update this in inside the database, so I will invoke the post function, post GWS, which is the address of the page here, in addition to the function's name, which is make first, and the next argument is design ID equals to product ID, and this one should be placed inside curly brackets, and function in case of success. Then move this line inside the function so that we can be sure that the design thumbnails will only switch places after they successfully switch their sort indexes inside the database table. So let's rebuild our project and refresh our page. Now let's click here. Yes, the design number 2 has been placed before design number 1. On a later video we will see how to give the admin the opportunity to arrange all of those designs in the page with the sortable plugin. Now let's start discussing the delete action. For the delete action to work, after the admin clicks the delete button, he should get a confirmation message in order to confirm the delete. And in this kind of situations, I prefer using the jQuery UI dialog plugin. So let's first install the plugin inside the default page. So our plugin is located under the scripts and jQuery UI. So I will put it here. And don't forget also to import the CSS file. So the CSS file is located under the content folder. So themes base jQuery UI minified.css. Now let's go to the gws.asmx and add a new web method, and the web method this time called delete design, and of course it should have an argument with the design ID. Before I delete the design, I have to make sure that all the files related to this design in the design file table is deleted as well, both physically from the drive and from the database as well. So I will type here dem design files equals db dot design files dot where function m, where m dot design id equals design id. Now I will run a loop here for each file, or let's say design file in design files, do the following. Try to remove this file. So try file dot delete. So we will have to import first the system input output. So at the head of the document, system import system dot input output. Okay, so file dot delete server dot map path design file dot file URL. I will add a try clause again. I will not add both in the same try, as one try might succeed while the other one fails. So icon URL. Okay, afterwards I can type now db dot design file dot designs dot remove my design, and once the my design got removed, all the related design files inside the table design file will be removed accordingly. Why? Because inside the database diagrams, don't forget that we have already set the insert update specification to cascade in case of delete. So once the design got deleted, all of its related files inside the design file table will be deleted accordingly. Let's now save the changes. So db.save changes. Now let's go here to default.js and add the delete design. But actually I forgot one thing here to do. I have to reorder all the sort indexes of the design. So, for example, if you have the sort index of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and you removed the design which has the sort index of 3, you will get at the end 1, 2, 4, 5. So I want to make them instead 1, 2, 3, 4. So I will type here dem, after I save changes, dem designs equals from db.designs.order by function m.sortIndex. Okay, dem j as integer equals 1. Now for each design in designs, do the following. Design dot sort index equals j plus equal 1, then db dot save changes. Okay, now let's go to default.js. Let's go here and see what we have already typed here. So the data action is delete. Now, before I continue typing the function here, I will add the code for the confirmation dialog that will appear once I click the delete button. So at the end of the document here, I will add this code. So Control K, Control D. This is a dialog confirm. Its display has set initially to none. This is the title, delete confirmation. Okay. Now let's go here and I will put the clicked element inside a variable called this. So this equals the clicked element this. Now var design id equals this dot parent dot data id. Okay, don't forget that the parent element for the delete button is the panel edit product, which has a data id with a design id. Now the confirm dialog dash confirm. This is the id of the dialog here, dialog dash confirm dot dialog, and then add the parameters of the function dialog. What are those parameters? The resizable property should be set to false, so the user will not have the opportunity to resize it. Also the height, I will not set the height, I will set the model to true, so the user can't click anything on the page behind the dialog box. Buttons, and the buttons is an object, has the following properties. It has two buttons. The first one is delete, and when you click on it, the following function should run. This function is nothing but the post function. Post, the first parameter is the GWS plus the function name. The function name is delete design. The parameters is design id, which will be equal to des id, and in case of success this function will be run. So this dot closest dot panel product, guess what, I want to detach it from the page, so dot detach, so it will disappear from the page once this function succeeds to delete all the related files and the design as well. And what happened in the case of close? So we have the delete button and we have also the close button or the cancel button. So when you click on cancel, another function has to run, which is nothing but closing the dialog. This and this here refers to the dialog box. This is why at the beginning of the function I have put the clicked element inside a variable, otherwise this will refer to something else. So this dot dialog, the action close. Okay, now let's save all, rebuild our project. Now let's refresh our page. Now let's, for example, click here and a dialog box will appear, but it seems that we have a problem here. So let's revise our code. We have missed here the letter S. So refresh again and click here. Okay, now we have two buttons and we have the confirmation. If we click on the delete button, what is the problem here? We have an internal server error for the delete design. Let's see what this error is. And yes, we have actually a misspelling here. And it seems that I have already forgot to copy this line here into the delete button as well. So after the post function success, I have to paste this line here. So in either cases, whether the user chooses to click on the delete button or the cancel button, the dialog will close at the end. So let's save all and refresh our page. Now let's try to remove this design by clicking delete Okay, now let's refresh our page again in order to make sure that this design has been actually removed. Okay, it seems that it has been completely removed from the design table. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please press like.